It started with a ping, a notification I almost ignored. My phone lit up with a message from her. I'm in Paris with the girls. We extended the trip. I stared at it, frozen, feeling a cold weight settle in my chest. I should have felt happy for her, I told myself, but all I felt was a sharp, twisting knot of dread. Extended? She hadn't mentioned anything. Not a word. I tried to shrug it off at first, telling myself she was just caught up in the excitement, that I was overthinking. But the seed of suspicion had been planted. I replayed the weeks before the trip in my mind. The sudden late nights at work, the constant texting with that smug smile she always tried to hide, the faint smell of perfume that wasn't mine clinging to her jacket. I wanted to trust her. I needed to. But something in me started whispering that maybe, just maybe, I was being fooled. I noticed it in little things at home. Her phone, always at her side, now seemed almost like a stranger she held protectively. She laughed a bit too easily at her screen, and when I asked who she was talking to, she brushed it off with that familiar wave of her hand. Just work stuff, she said. The words fell hollow. Her eyes darted away, and for the first time, I realized I didn't know her anymore. A week passed. Then, two. Calls went unanswered. Texts became infrequent and vague. I found myself scanning her social media obsessively, scrutinizing every photo, every comment. Was I crazy? Was I imagining things? I caught myself searching for evidence that maybe didn't even exist. But the gnawing feeling, the one I couldn't shake, kept insisting there was more than just a girl's trip in Paris. It wasn't until the third week that the truth hit me like a fist. I was cleaning up the kitchen, mindlessly wiping down the counters, when her phone lit up on the table. She had forgotten it in her rush to grab a cab to meet someone. A message preview flashed across the screen. Can't wait to see you tonight. Hurry. My stomach turned over. My hands trembled as I unlocked the phone, my worst instincts demanding confirmation. There it was. Chat after chat, secret exchanges, plans made in whispers I wasn't allowed to hear. She wasn't in Paris alone. She wasn't with just the girls. I sat down, the floor cold against my knees, feeling like the air had been sucked from the room. Memories I once cherished now stung like acid. The way she used to smile at me over breakfast, the soft brush of her hand against mine on the couch. Were they all lies? I replayed our last month in excruciating detail, noticing every coincidence I had foolishly ignored. Her sudden obsession with fashion, the unexplained credit card charges, the way she lingered at her vanity as if preparing for someone else. My mind felt like a maze, twisting and looping, unable to escape the betrayal. I confronted her the night she returned, trying to steady my voice, try to appear calm when every inch of me was screaming. Who were you with in Paris? I asked. Her face faltered for a fraction of a second. The perfect mask of composure cracked just enough for me to see it. What do you mean? She said, but it wasn't a question. It was an attempt to buy time, to deflect, to spin. I slammed the photos, the messages, the evidence on the table. Silence hung heavy between us. She didn't deny it, not fully. She confessed with a quiet, brittle voice, saying it just happened, that it didn't mean anything, that she still loved me in her own way. Her eyes held guilt, yes, but also a strange attachment that made my heart fracture all over again. I remember walking out that night, the cold wind biting my cheeks, the streetlights stretching long shadows over the pavement. I wasn't crying. I was empty, hollow, stripped of the warmth I once felt in our home. And yet, amid the shock, the anger, the heartbreak, there was a strange clarity. I realized I couldn't rebuild what she had broken, not without losing myself in the process. The days that followed were a haze of silence, of avoiding the spaces we once shared. Every corner of our apartment whispered her absence, every object a reminder of what had been stolen. But with that silence came reflection. I began to remember the strength I had buried beneath years of complacency, beneath the comfort of routine and love misplaced. I began to understand that love wasn't about forgiving betrayal. It was about knowing your worth, even when it hurts to claim it. Weeks later, I packed her things into boxes. She watched, quiet and small, offering no apologies beyond what had already been said. When the door closed behind her for the last time, I felt an ache so deep it made my knees weak, but also a seed of something new. I wasn't broken. I was awakening. I was learning that betrayal, no matter how deeply it cuts, cannot define me. That night, I sat on the balcony, the city lights stretching out before me, and for the first time in weeks, I breathed. The pain was still there, raw and jagged, but underneath it, there was clarity. I would heal. I would rebuild. And I would never let anyone, not even someone I loved, make me feel invisible again. Sometimes, I still think of Paris, of her laughter and lies. But I also think of the moment I found myself again, the night a text destroyed a world, only to reveal the life I had to reclaim. That's when I knew. Betrayal hurts, yes, but it can also set you free.